You're sitting at the table, laughter around you, voices overlapping, and a silent emptiness inside. Your phone vibrates, notifications, invitations, but no one asks how you truly are. You learn to smile, learn to stay composed, learn to look whole, even when you feel broken. You've been in relationships, you've had friends, you've shared a bed, and still, alone. It's not lack of people, it's not lack of options, it's something deeper, something you can't name. What if the problem isn't loneliness? What if it's disconnection? What if you're surrounded, but invisible even to yourself? You're not overreacting, you're not dramatic, and you're not weak for feeling this. Emptiness has a story. It didn't start yesterday. It didn't begin with that breakup. It didn't appear at that crowded table. It started long ago. There's a name for what you're experiencing. It's not neediness. It's not desperation. It's emotional disconnection. It's performed loneliness. It's fear of being truly seen. And it has deep roots, ancient roots. According to Brené Brown, real connection requires vulnerability. But vulnerability feels like risk, and risk feels like abandonment. So you learn to avoid it. You learn to measure words. You learn to hide tears. You learn to sustain strength, even when you wanted comfort. Maybe you were the strong one in your family, the easy child, the problem solver, the one who held it together, the one who couldn't fall apart. And there you learned something dangerous. To be loved, you must be useful. And that stayed. So you grew competent, funny, interesting, independent, always ready, always available, always present, but never whole. You talk about your day, tell light stories, share laughter, listen carefully to others, but when pain rises, you change the subject. When fear appears, you go silent. When you need someone, you minimize it and say, "You're fine." People see your social brightness, they see your efficiency, they see your stability, they see your strength, but they don't see the exhaustion. They don't see the fear. They don't see the emptiness because you don't allow it. The emptiness isn't lack of people. It's lack of being known. It's lack of being seen without filters. It's absence of emotional intimacy. No one can love what you hide. No one can hold what you mask. No one can touch what you overprotect. Not even you. You're afraid of being too intense, or too needy, or too fragile. So you offer adjusted versions, edited versions, controlled versions, and then you wonder why it still hurts. And it does. Here's the quiet truth. The problem isn't that no one stays, it's that no one enters. You open the social door, but lock the room of your soul. So you stay surrounded, you stay admired, you stay connected, and you stay empty because you were never truly seen. You don't notice it, but you keep choosing the same kind of relationship. People too busy, emotionally unavailable, affectionate at first, distant later, present when they want, absent when you need. And you say it was coincidence, just bad luck. That love is hard nowadays, but deep down, it feels familiar, an old sensation, a repeated script, a waiting you already know, and that's unsettling. You learned to love by chasing, learned that connection requires effort, learned that intensity guarantees permanence, so you give first, explain too much, adapt quickly, tolerate long silences, and call it maturity. When someone shows strong interest, you doubt it. When someone is stable, you feel strange. When someone is clear, you lose attraction, because peace feels boring, and tension feels like chemistry. Unpredictability feels like passion. Distance feels like challenge. And you know this game. This didn't start now. It began when you had to earn attention, when you had to behave, when you had to not be too much, when love was conditional, when affection came with pressure, when presence came with fear, and your body recorded everything. Your emotional system learned this. Love is effort. Love is proof. Love is endurance. Love is waiting. So you call anxiety connection, call insecurity intensity, call longing destiny. You feel alive in uncertainty, because there you try to finally win. This time it will work. This time he will stay. This time you'll be enough. But deep down, you're still trying to heal the past with someone from the present. And every time someone leaves, it's not just the breakup that hurts. It's the confirmation, the old wound, the echo of childhood, the feeling of not being chosen. You promise it'll be different, but you repeat. You're not searching for love. You're searching for validation. Not partnership, but repair, and until you see that, you will keep choosing what confirms your wound. Keep calling absence destiny. Keep being surrounded and alone. And this is where something begins to shift. If you're recognizing yourself in these words, don't ignore it. This channel is a safe space for those who are tired of pretending to be strong and want to learn how to love without abandoning themselves. Here, you won't receive cliches. You'll receive clarity, healing, and direction. So click the button right now and subscribe, because your soul didn't arrive here by accident. Maybe this is the beginning of your new beginning. You begin full of hope. You believe this time will be different. You promise yourself you'll protect your heart, but before you realize, you're adapting again, explaining yourself too much, lowering expectations, accepting less, calling it maturity. Slowly, you grow tired of initiating conversations, tired of sustaining interest alone, tired of waiting for replies, tired of pretending you're calm, tired of understanding everything, tired of always being the understanding one, while no one understands you. The emptiness grows quietly. It's not dramatic, it's erosion, it's slow wear. You begin to doubt yourself, question your worth, tone down your intensity, distance from who you are. You abandon yourself first, before the other person does. You adjust, you shapeshift, you silence yourself, you control yourself, you prune yourself, and call it love. But the cost is high. You lose spontaneity, lose lightness, lose authenticity, lose your voice, lose the ability to ask, lose the courage to show pain, and lose yourself. Then loneliness changes shape. It's no longer absence of someone, it's absence of you. You are there, but not whole, present, but disconnected, surrounded, yet empty. You start believing this is your destiny, that you're too intense, feel too deeply, expect too much, love too much. Maybe you should just feel less, but feeling less doesn't heal, it only numbs. Here comes the false solution. Loving more doesn't fix it. Trying harder doesn't fix it. Pleasing more doesn't fix it. Staying silent doesn't fix it. Closing off doesn't fix it. Becoming cold doesn't fix it. Becoming someone else doesn't fix it. Because the problem was never too much love. It was lack of truth, never intensity, but fear of being real, never neediness, but hunger for genuine connection. And while you fight to be accepted, you will keep abandoning yourself. This is where it hurts, but also where it becomes clear. Because you begin to realize you don't need to love less. You need to hide less, betray yourself less, abandon yourself less, and that changes everything. The first step is uncomfortable. You will stop performing strength, not for everyone, but for someone safe, a mature friend, a therapist, a spiritual mentor, someone who can handle truth. You will say what you feel, without irony, without minimizing, without laughing it off, without turning pain into a joke, without editing intensity, without apologizing for needing, just truth. At first, you'll shake. Your body isn't used to it. Vulnerability activates old memories. It feels risky. It feels exposed. It feels like they'll leave. But if they stay, something new is born. Your nervous system learns differently. Learns that opening doesn't kill. That feeling doesn't push love away. That needing doesn't expel people. That crying doesn't scare real love. And slowly, your body unlearns fear and relearns connection. The second step is quiet. You will observe your patterns, without judgment, without shame, without self-attack. When someone distant attracts you, you will pause and ask why. It's not about avoiding love. It's about avoiding repetition. You begin to notice what activates you, what makes you anxious, what makes you chase, what makes you prove your worth. And instead of reacting impulsively, you breathe. Breathing is revolutionary because it breaks the automatic, breaks the impulse, breaks the old script. You start choosing differently, not from fear, but from awareness. And that changes destiny. At first, it feels strange, too calm, too safe, too predictable. But peace is not boredom. It's stability. It's solid ground. It's love without suspense. You will feel tempted to return to the familiar, the intense, the unpredictable, the emotionally unavailable, because the brain loves familiarity, even when it hurts. But now you know, and awareness breaks cycles. Healing doesn't happen at once. It happens in micro choices, in small truths, in clear boundaries. in saying, "This doesn't feel good," in holding silence without panic, in not chasing someone who won't stay, and something begins to shift, because when you stop abandoning yourself, emptiness starts losing its power. Hey, if you got distracted, come back right now. Pay attention. This is the most important part. You thought the emptiness was punishment, that it was your fault, that it was an emotional defect, but maybe it was a calling, not to someone else, but back to yourself and to God, who never left. While you were trying to be seen by everyone, He already saw you fully, without emotional makeup, without editing, without performance. He saw your silent nights. He saw the unspoken prayer. He saw the tired smile. You felt forgotten, replaceable, interchangeable. But Isaiah 49 says something different. I will not forget you. I have engraved you on the palms of my hands. Not a light metaphor, an identity. You are not a crowd to God, not just another profile, not an emotional option. You are a name, a story, an intention, a constant remembrance, and that changes everything. Maybe loneliness wasn't abandonment. Maybe it was redirection. God didn't remove someone from you. He removed you from repetition. He interrupted invisible cycles. He closed doors that would reinforce your wound. It wasn't rejection. It was protection. You wanted to be chosen by someone, but God was choosing you for healing. You wanted human belonging, but He was restoring inner belonging. Because when you reconnect with Him, you stop begging for validation, stop negotiating your dignity, stop shrinking yourself. Faith doesn't erase emptiness overnight, but it fills it with presence, not religious noise, but quiet companionship, knowing you are not forgotten, not invisible, not replaceable, never were. And when this truth moves from mind to heart, something settles, anxiety lowers, desperation slows, the need to prove decreases. You begin to rest, not because someone stayed, but because God remained. Loneliness can be overcome, not by crowds, but by reconnection. Reconnection with your truth, reconnection with your vulnerability, reconnection with God. And when that happens, emptiness stops being a sentence. What if what you called abandonment was actually an invitation? You may still be surrounded. The table may still be full. Your phone may still vibrate. Conversations continue. But something has shifted inside. You're no longer waiting to be chosen, no longer begging for belonging. You have begun to choose yourself. Loneliness didn't magically disappear. It transformed, from sentence to signal, from emptiness to space. Space for truth, space for boundaries, space for real presence, space for God. You learned that connection begins at home, inside your soul, inside awareness, inside embraced vulnerability. Now when someone approaches, you don't perform, you don't chase, you remain. If they stay, it's choice. If they leave, it's clarity. You no longer call absence destiny or tension passion. You don't negotiate dignity. Don't reduce your intensity. Don't apologize for feeling. You honor yourself. Psychology helped you understand the pattern. Faith helped you endure the process. Awareness gave you freedom. God gave you identity. Now you don't seek someone to fill you. You seek someone to share with, not validation, but reciprocity. You realize emptiness was never about lack of people. It was lack of inner presence. And when you return to yourself, you return to God. And when you return to God, you return to your essence. And when you return to your essence, you stopped abandoning yourself. You are no longer the girl trying to earn love. You are the woman aware of her worth. You don't love to be accepted. You love because you are whole. You don't offer yourself to be chosen. You offer yourself because you already chose yourself. And that changes your energy, changes your choices. There may still be silence. There may still be waiting. But there is no more desperation. Because now you know you are not forgotten, not invisible, not replaceable. You are engraved in God's hands. And next time you're surrounded and feel your heart quiet, you will notice something different. It's not emptiness. It's peace, not abandonment, but alignment. And you finally understand, I can change my destiny. If this message resonated with you, subscribe right now to our channel. Here you don't get empty phrases. You receive awareness, applied faith, and real transformation. This is a space for those who want to stop emotionally surviving and start living with purpose. Click subscribe and walk with us on this journey of healing. Maybe God brought you here to begin something new. And for you who stayed until the end, write in the comments, I choose not to abandon myself. When you declare this, something aligns within you. I pray that God strengthens your identity and restores your peace. May you never again accept less than you deserve.